and welcome to India Brady Art. In my last video, if you'll remember, I showed y'all this really cute silicone mold that a subscriber of mine, Miss Patricia, sent to me as a gift. Thank you again, Patricia. And it's really cool because it's got the clock face that goes in this hole right here, and it runs on batteries. So you can, when the battery runs out, you can take it out and change out the battery, which is really cool, nice and functional. But anyway, I asked y'all to give me some ideas on how you would like for me to do this, decorate it, whatever. And a subscriber of mine told me that no matter what I did to it, it would probably end up beautiful, which thank you, thank you, thank you. And another one of my subscribers said that she would like to see what it would look like marbled, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. And right after I posted that video, I got this idea of using flowers, dry flowers. And I thought, well, why not do the two of them together? So what I'm gonna do is I've got 80 milliliters of resin mixed up. It's already mixed up. And I'm gonna pour that in here. And then what I'm gonna do is scatter rosebuds and dianthus leaves all in here. Let it cure. And when I come back, we'll go to the next step. So that's what I'm gonna do. And when you're working with dried flowers or anything that doesn't weigh very much, that's, basically not gonna sink in your resin, you wanna do it in layers, because what that's gonna do is your contents of whatever you're putting in your mold will float to the top, and your project won't, the pieces in it won't look right. Plus they'll be sticking out of your resin. So that's why you need to work in layers when you're doing something like this, is because, yeah, basically this part is gonna act like glue. And, when I put my objects in here and it'll cure, then the base that I'm putting in here, the resin that I just poured, will act like a base and hold the flowers and stuff inside the mold. Does that make any sense? If I don't ever make any sense, y'all just email me or put it in the comments. Okay. So we're gonna give it a little bit of a spritz. Get rid of the air bubbles, little bitty air bubbles. Tiny bubbles. Okay, so I'm gonna go with, oh good, I do have my tweezers. Okay. So I'm just gonna get to work here. Okay, y'all. So there is no rhyme or reason for placing these rosebuds. I just didn't want them just all gobbed together. I wanted to leave space to put these little pieces of grass. And I didn't want to put a lot of grass in there either because I wanted the white to show up on the front. So what I'm doing here is I'm pushing these down to where they can get a good lock on the front of the clock. And that's why it's a good idea to pour a thin layer into your project when you're working with dried flowers or dried anything for that matter, is because that thin layer of resin that you pour down is going to act like it's going to basically act like glue. So when it cures, it will hold all of your um, dried flowers and dried whatever inside your project. So what I'm going to do here is I have 80 mils of resin mixed up. I reserved, I think it was 30 mils. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my passion base cell white epoxy pigment paste into that resin, and I want the opacity to be pretty dense, um, at least dense enough to where you can't see through it. You know, not like milk. And I got a booger in there somewhere. So I'm just gonna pour the whole thing in there. And what got me is that the first layer of resin I poured in there was 80 milliliters. And it looked like it came up to about halfway up the molds. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just mix another 80 milliliters and that'll be fine. But no, it didn't. So I'm taking Artesa's, I believe it's light gold mica powder, and I'm going to just drizzle it into the white. Just no rhyme or reason. You can see that. And then I'm going to take my stick and I'm going to drag it through the white to make it look like it's marble. Okay, and it, boy, did it not cure. First of all, it didn't cure like it should have. And second of all, I like it. It looks like it's marbled. But I was out of, or almost out of resin. The resin that I used for the front, I didn't have enough to do the back, but I basically ran out of my other resins, and This resin came out of the box that my cup turner, I ordered a cup turner, gosh, last year, and they had a bunch of goodies in it, and there were two small bottles of resin, in the hardener, and that's what I used for the back of this clock. Now, as you notice, this hasn't really cured all the way, but usually when resin hasn't cured all the way, it's still a little bit sticky. This resin was not sticky, but it felt oily, and it was pliable, like kind of like oily Play-Doh, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I've never seen anything like it. But anyway, that's what the back of it looks like. I was gonna put this in my Etsy shop, but I'm not going to because it just the way it cured. I haven't looked at it today. This was yesterday. I haven't looked at it today, but it's still not going in my Etsy shop. So anyway, now I'm just trying to set the clock part. In fact, I'm not going to use that clock. I'm not going to use those pins. At first, I kind of wanted to, but yeah, it just, unless I wanted to hang it on the wall, then I could go ahead and use the clock face. But yeah, I might use another one. And this is what it looks like up close. I love it. I love it. It's one of my favorite things that I've made. So thank you again. Thank you so much, Patricia. I love it. I loved how it turned out. And until next time, y'all, dare to create.